What if the world you see, touch, and trust to be solid is nothing more than a flicker? What if the reality you call home is a rhythm, appearing and vanishing so quickly that your senses mistake it for permanence? This was not the claim of a mystic poet, but of a man who lived with one foot in science and the other in philosophy. His name was Itzhak Bentov. An inventor, an engineer, and a thinker, Bentov helped pioneer medical technology, yet spent his nights sketching the architecture of consciousness. He built machines, but he also built bridges between physics and mysticism, between vibration and thought, between the universe and the self. And his central idea was as daring as it was simple. Reality itself is not fixed. It is a movement, a pulse, a pendulum swinging between being and not being, so fast that we cannot see the gaps in between. Bentov asked us to redraw our maps of existence, not as flat diagrams, not as solid walls of matter, but as layers: physical body, subtle soul, deeper self, and beyond them, the absolute. He believed that what appears separate is in truth woven together by invisible threads of vibration. Imagine the universe as a single cosmic heartbeat. Every instant, it contracts and expands, appears and vanishes. Between those beats lies a silence, a pause that meditation can touch. To live is to ride this rhythm, to be carried by the great pendulum of existence. And yet this vision is not just mysticism. Bentov pointed to science itself, physics, holography, resonance, as signs that reality is not as solid as it looks, that everything we know, from the atoms in our bones to the stars in the sky, may be ripples of one underlying vibration. But if this is true, what does it mean for us? What happens to our sense of control, of identity, of time itself, if reality is revealed to be a flickering hologram? This is the journey ahead. To follow Bentov into the spaces between, to see how ancient myths, modern science, and personal experience converge on one daring claim: that life is not a fixed stage, but a dance of vibration. Before we go further, if you find value in this exploration, pause for a moment, subscribe, share, join this community of seekers. Because what we are about to uncover is not just theory. It is a map for how to live, how to think, and how to awaken to the hidden rhythm beneath all things. So let us begin. Bentov, the pendulum and the illusion of reality. To understand Bentov's vision of reality, we must first understand the man himself. Itzhak Bentov was not a cloistered philosopher lost in abstractions. He was an inventor, an engineer, a mind always building. He helped design one of the first cardiac catheters, a device that saved countless lives. His hands worked in metal and circuits that his imagination reached for the mysteries of the cosmos. What made him unusual was not his brilliance alone, but his refusal to separate the scientific from the spiritual. For Bentov, the laboratory and the meditation cushion were not opposites. They were two doors into the same room. The engineer in him measured vibration in machines. The seeker in him measured vibration in the soul. He believed the universe itself could be understood as a grand resonating system, a harmony of frequencies. And just as a violin string hums when struck, Consciousness, too, was a vibration, tuning itself to greater and greater patterns. Bentov often turned to simple images to make the invisible visible. One of his favorites was the pendulum. Picture it swinging, left, right, back again. Each swing a cycle. Each cycle a reminder that reality itself is not steady, but rhythmic. According to him, what we call existence is only the fast oscillation between appearing and vanishing. So fast, in fact, that our senses weave the flicker into something solid, like frames of film mistaken for continuous motion. In his view, we do not live in a fixed block of matter. We live in a hologram, a projection created by layers of resonance. Our bodies, our thoughts, our very sense of self are standing waves in a cosmic field. And if this is true, then consciousness is not trapped in the brain. It is a receiver, tuning into a universal broadcast that exists everywhere, always. This is where Bentov's bridge becomes clear. He was not rejecting science. He was expanding it. He believed that meditation, mysticism, and myth were not superstitions, but early attempts to describe truths that physics was only beginning to uncover. That the yogi in silence and the physicist at the blackboard were tracing the same pattern, each in their own language. Bentov's life was short. He died in a plane crash in 1979, but his ideas continue to ripple. To some, they are speculation. To others, revelation. But whether accepted or doubted, they carry a strange power. They force us to question the most basic assumption of all, that reality is solid, continuous, and separate. And if Bentov's right, then what feels most certain, our sense of time, our sense of control, even our sense of individuality, may be the greatest illusions of all. Imagine striking a match in the dark. The flame appears, disappears, and appears again so quickly that your eyes blur the gaps into continuity. To Bentov, this is what reality itself does. It blinks in and out of existence at unimaginable speed, an endless flicker of being and non-being. Our senses are too slow to notice. The gaps vanish in the blur. We mistake the strobe for a steady light. Like frames of film flashing one after the other, tricking the mind into believing it sees a moving world. Bentov believed that consciousness is synchronized to this flicker. Every pulse of reality is also a pulse of awareness. To be alive is to ride this oscillation, to appear and vanish with the universe itself. But what happens in the interval, those hidden spaces between? He suggested that meditation can reveal them. In silence, in stillness, the rhythm of the mind slows, the constant chatter fades, and sometimes, for an instant, awareness slips into the gap, the pause between frames where the ordinary self dissolves and a deeper dimension is felt. This is not just mysticism. Physics itself hints at such rhythms. Quantum fields vibrate. Particles blink into and out of existence, borrowing energy from nothing before returning it. Even the fabric of space-time is not smooth, but granular, fluctuating. Reality, at its core, is not a solid wall. It is a vibration. Bentov saw the human being as a miniature reflection of this cosmic process. The heart beats, the neurons fire, the cells resonate, all pulsing with the same hidden rhythm as galaxies and atoms. We are not observers outside the flicker. We are part of the flicker. And in this realization lies a profound shift. What if death itself is only a change of rhythm? What if consciousness does not end, but simply retunes to another frequency beyond the range of our senses? To see reality as flickering is to realize that permanence is an illusion. What feels continuous is stitched together by vibration. And yet, far from being terrifying, this vision can be liberating. Because if everything is vibration, then separation is impossible. We are already woven into the same oscillating fabric. Bentov's vision did not stop at the flicker. He asked us to imagine the entire universe not as a machine of separate parts, but as a hologram. What is a hologram? A three-dimensional image created by interference patterns of light. But here lies its mystery. Break a hologram into pieces, and each piece still contains the whole image. The part reflects the whole endlessly. Bentov believed reality itself is holographic. Every atom, every cell, every mind is not isolated, but a window into the totality. Within you, the entire cosmos echoes. Within the cosmos, your presence is inscribed. Separation is appearance. Interconnection is truth. He was not alone in this idea. Physics has long shown that particles, once linked, can remain connected across infinite distances, a phenomenon called entanglement. Strike one, and the other responds instantly, as if distance did not exist. Bentov saw in this not just a scientific curiosity, but a key to understanding consciousness. We are entangled with the universe itself. Ancient wisdom intuited this long before science. In Hindu mythology, there is the story of Indra's net, a cosmic web stretching infinitely in all directions, with a jewel at each node. Each jewel reflects all the others, so that the whole is contained in every part. Bentov believed this was more than metaphor. It was a poetic glimpse of the holographic truth. Modern science, too, hints at this structure. Physicists like David Bohm suggested that what we see as reality is only the unfolded order, while beneath it lies the implicate order, a hidden layer where everything is already unified, already whole, already present. Bentov's holographic model echoes this. Consciousness is not locked in our skulls, but projected from and into a universal field. Think of what this means. To harm another is to harm yourself, for the other is not separate from you. To seek truth is not to travel outward, but inward, where the holographic reflection already shines. Every thought ripples through the field. Every act resonates beyond measure. Bentov often said that meditation allows us to sense this holographic unity. In the stillness, the boundaries soften. The self and the universe are revealed as two perspectives on the same vibration. The fragment and the whole are one. To live as if we are separate is to live in illusion. To live as if we are holographic is to awaken to responsibility, to compassion, to awe. Because if each part reflects the whole, then in every breath, every heartbeat, every moment, you are carrying the universe. What is time? We speak of it as if it were simple. A line, a river, past behind us, future ahead. We measure it in seconds, hours, years, and trust it to be steady, absolute. But Bentov warned that this too was illusion. To him, time was not a line at all, but a vibration, elastic, cyclical, stretching and contracting with the rhythm of consciousness itself. Just as reality flickers in and out, so too does time. Each moment a frame, each frame stitched together by awareness into what feels like continuity. Physics whispers the same mystery. Einstein showed that time is not universal. It bends with gravity, slows with speed, folds into space. What you call now may not be the same now for someone else. And in quantum theory, the arrow of time itself begins to blur. Bentov used simple images. Imagine a pendulum again, not only swinging through space, but also through time. Back and forth, forward and backward, a cycle rather than a march. To him, our ordinary sense of past and future was only one layer of perception. Beneath it lies a deeper rhythm where all times coexist, like music already written into the score, waiting for the performer to play each note. Mystical traditions across cultures echo this. The Hindus spoke of great cycles of creation and dissolution, kalpas, ages where the universe itself breathes in and out. The Mayans saw time as circular, repeating patterns across vast epochs. Even Marcus Aurelius wrote, "All things are the same and recur as in a circle." Bentov believed meditation could loosen our grip on linear time. In stillness, the ordinary flow slows. Seconds stretch, hours vanish. For a moment, one touches the timeless, the gap between frames where eternity hides. If time is elastic, then the fear of running out of it is misplaced. Life is not a race along a fragile line. It is a rhythm, a song, a vibration. To live well is not to chase the future or cling to the past, but to find harmony in the present note being played. And this has consequences. If the past is not gone, if the future already exists in some form, then memory and imagination may be more than shadows. They may be glimpses into the holographic fabric of time, faint reflections of moments waiting to unfold. To see time as illusion is not to despair. It is to be liberated. The deadlines, the anxieties, the relentless march of the clock, they dissolve into rhythm. What remains is this breath, this heartbeat, this moment, vibrating in resonance with eternity. If vibration is the fabric of reality, and time is only its rhythm, what then binds the universe together? For Bentov, the answer was both simple and profound: love. Not love as sentiment, not love as fleeting passion, but love as the fundamental attraction that draws all things into harmony. Just as gravity pulls matter, just as resonance aligns vibrations, love is the cosmic force of unity. Think of it this way. Two tuning forks, when placed side by side, will eventually hum in resonance. Two hearts, in proximity, synchronize their rhythms. Two minds, in deep connection, often think the same thought before it is spoken. Bentov believed this was not coincidence. It was the holographic field revealing itself. The universe seeks coherence, and love is the word we give to that coherence. Physics has its own language for this: fields, forces, entanglement. Mysticism calls it compassion, oneness, devotion. But beneath the names lies the same truth. Separation is illusion, and what bridges the illusion is attraction. Ancient myths echo this force. The Greeks spoke of eros, not just as desire, but as the primordial power that shaped the cosmos out of chaos. Hindu philosophy speaks of the union of Shiva and Shakti, the masculine and feminine, energy and consciousness, drawn together in the dance of creation. Even modern biology whispers the same thing. Life emerges not from competition alone, but from cooperation, bonding, connection. For Bentov, love was not a metaphor, but a physics of the soul. The same pull that keeps the planets in orbit keeps human beings reaching for one another. The same resonance that shapes galaxies shapes communities, friendships, and families. And when we feel love, we are not stepping outside the laws of nature, we are aligning with its deepest current. To live without love is to feel separate, isolated, cut off from the field. To live with love is to feel what has always been true. You were never separate. The universe reflects itself in you, and you reflect yourself in others. The hologram shines more brightly when the parts resonate in harmony.
Bentov suggested that as consciousness evolves, it vibrates at higher frequencies, tuning more and more into this fundamental force. To love, then, is not just an emotion, it is a practice of alignment, a way of entering the rhythm of the cosmos. And so, the mystery comes full circle. Reality flickers, time bends, the hologram reflects. But what gives it meaning, what holds the parts together, what transforms chaos into cosmos, is love. We began with a question: what if reality is not what it seems? With Bentov, we have journeyed through flickering existence, holographic unity, elastic time, and the fundamental force of love. Along the way, science and mysticism have converged, whispering the same truth. The world you see is not solid, but rhythmic, not separate, but whole, not random, but bound together by attraction. Bentov's gift was not just a theory, it was a lens, a way of seeing that dissolves the illusion of isolation and reveals the universe as a living vibration, one heartbeat unfolding in infinite forms. If reality flickers, then permanence is illusion. If the universe is holographic, then every part reflects the whole. If time bends, then the present is eternity. And if love is the fundamental force, then to live without it is to live against the grain of the cosmos itself. What does this mean for us? It means that control is never the goal. Alignment is. It means that wisdom is not found in clinging to the material, but in attuning ourselves to the rhythm that underlies all things. It means that when we love, when we act with compassion, when we see ourselves in others, we are not being sentimental, we are being truthful. So the choice lies before us, to walk blind, seeing only separation, permanence, and fear, or to awaken to the deeper pattern, to live as part of the vibration, to feel the hologram shining in every breath.
This is Bentov's invitation. This is the vision waiting in the silence between moments. And if this journey has moved you, if you have felt even a glimpse of that hidden rhythm, then join us. Subscribe, share this with someone who seeks. Add your voice in the comments, because truth grows when it is shared, and wisdom deepens when we walk together. Reality may flicker, time may bend, but the unity remains. And within that unity, within the vibration, within the love, you have always been at home.